What is up, everyone, and welcome on in to another installment of the Fast Five, presented as always by our good friends over at SuperBook Sports. I'm Manilo Piro, located in the great state of Colorado, Denver in particular, where it has rained for 48 hours straight. So sometimes I think I'm in Seattle. I don't really know where I am. It's usually 300 days of sunshine. But I woke up this morning to go walk and get a cup of coffee, and it was still raining. So 48-hour monsoon here in Colorado, and my friend on the other side of the screen, Mr. Unit. Where are you today, my friend? Usually you're in Nevada, but I know you've been a busy
Yeah,
man.
I can't say the same. It's not raining here. Beautiful day in Baltimore, Maryland. We're out here for the ribbon cutting of the brand new SuperBook Bar and Restaurant right at Camden Yards. We just had our MLB draft, I think, on the last episode, and Camden Yards was a pretty high pick.
Top
But
of
I
the
think
list.
go number one after spending the past week here, going to games. You got the SuperBook Bar and Restaurant. It's a perfect ballpark.
Yeah, and I mean, I know when you and I were talking about, doing the MLB draft, like I talked about Coors Field, obviously here locally in Colorado, but Camden Yards, from everyone that I've talked to, is kind of the blueprint of the modern MLB ballpark, where we've seen like Petco, Coors Field, Progressive Field, like all these new ballparks that have, been made in the last 2 decades or so kind of stem from the origin of Camden Yards out there in Baltimore. I was just telling you, especially because you guys are now the sponsor out there, that I've always wanted to get out there and see a game. I see you got the Oriole logo across your chest. Love the logo, love Baltimore. One of the best teams in the sport right now. And, the SuperBook Bar and Grill don't sound too shabby either. So you said the grand opening is going down this weekend, or, you're opening up to the public.
Yep. So it's been open. It's been open this year, but today is the big day where we're cutting the ribbon. We've got everything set up exactly how we want to. We got
Nice.
all the TVs, all the screens, perfect place to sit, bet, watch the games, and then just take a step outside and you're right in the stadium. You're watching the Orioles game, and they are one of the most fun teams, if not the most fun team in baseball. They got young talent, second best record in the AL. They just won a series against the Rays. It's a perfect time to be an Orioles fan. It's a perfect time to get out to Camden Yards and watch a game.
Well, I can envision you and I putting back many a Coors or many a Miller Lights,
Sure.
down at the new SuperBook Bar and Grill out there in Baltimore, Maryland, right outside of Camden Yards. So I definitely got to get out there and check it out. How long you been out there for?
Yeah, so I've been here since Tuesday. So I got to catch
wow.
the rubber match of the Orioles Rays. That was a great game. And then tonight, we've got, of course, as I mentioned, the grand opening, and then we're going to be heading to the game to watch the Orioles play the Pirates.
Well, enjoy, my friend. I'm jealous that you're out there. Like I've said, I've always wanted to get to Camden, and the Baltimore Orioles are obviously a very fun team. But hey, if you find yourself in Maryland, the Baltimore area, whatever it might be sure to download that SuperBook Sports app. When you download the app, make a deposit and place a wager today. For Maryland only, you're going to get a bonus of up to $500. For everybody else in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Nevada, New Jersey, Ohio, and Tennessee, when you download that SuperBook Sports app, sign up, deposit, and place a wager today, you'll find yourself with a bonus of up to $250. So do yourself that favor. Download the SuperBook Sports app. They're pushing their brand new same-game parlay options, odds boost, the whole nine. I just put an odds boost together for last night's Denver Nuggets game against the Phoenix Suns, and as I was telling you before we started doing this show, what the parlay was Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic all to score 25-plus points. If you told me the 2 players of those 4 that didn't reach the 25-point threshold were Devin Booker and Kevin Durant before the game, I would have told you were crazy. But that's how it, ended up. That's betting sometimes. But love the odds boost. Love all.
Why didn't you think of putting Campaign 7+ threes in there?
I was thinking about it. I felt like he was due for a breakout game from beyond the arc, but I went with the safe play. I thought Devin Booker was a guarantee to at least score 25 points, but it's the way the cookie crumbles, my friend. I don't know. It's just now we got to wait and see what happens with that moving forward. But it is what it is. Download that SuperBook Sports app and away we go. But speaking of sports and betting, yesterday or earlier this week was kind of the meat and potatoes of the middle of the NFL offseason for a lot of us, because the NFL schedule has released. We've got an idea of who all the teams will be playing and the order in which they'll be playing this coming season. Obviously, the NFL schedule release every year is a big deal. A lot of these teams have started to get really creative with how they release their schedules. Like I saw Tennessee, went around, in Nashville and was asking people to guess team logos. The Chargers did their anime schedule release again. So schedule release day seems to be like an unofficial holiday for the NFL offseason.
Yeah, all the schedule release videos are amazing. I spent like right before I went to bed, I was going to like every NFL team's Twitter and watching their schedule release video. They get pretty creative with it, so I'll give props to the fellow social guys for the NFL.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, you sent it to me. Our good friends over at Superbook here, a laundry list of games. You've got all the lines, all the over-unders, the point spreads for NFL Week 1, here on the end of May, as, we're about 6 months away from the start of the NFL season, just to kind of give you guys an idea of, what's coming down the pipe. And obviously, NFL is the creme de la creme when it comes to sports and sports fandom in the States, and specifically sports betting. The handle, just everything, the dollars and cents associated with the NFL just goes up, up, up. During football season. So it's nice to see, some NFL lines back out there, some -3s, +5.5 pick'ems, because in the NBA, you get these crazy lines, double digits consistently. You don't get a good read on these teams one night in, one night out. Hockey and baseball, it's run lines. Sometimes the money lines are juiced. So the NFL, in my opinion, is the best sport to bet for the casual sports fan as well. But we got a laundry list of games here, my friend. Is there anything in particular that sticks out to you on this Week 1 slate that you want to chat about?
Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, obviously, starting the season off with the defending champs, you got the Chiefs and the Lions. I saw on Twitter some people complaining, this matchup sucks. I don't know if this is a hot take or what, but I think it's great. I mean, in my opinion, it's the best quarterback in the NFL in the AFC. And then on the other side, I think is the best quarterback in the NFC, Jared Goff. So a lot of high
I
expectations.
think he's better than Jalen Hurts.
As of right now, I would say yes. I would take Goff. Just for this season. I mean, obviously, Hurts has a lot of potential, but just based off right now, I think Jared Goff's the best quarterback.
I don't even, how I feel about the Philadelphia Eagles, man. And I like Jared Goff, and I like Detroit. You got a lot more confidence than I do. I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Lions hater, and I'm still. I'll put
wow, that's what makes me even more surprised.
Goff, as of right now, is the best quarterback in the NFC. That could change by week 3 or week 20.
Take your notes.
Hot take alert.
Interesting. There's a couple of games that initially jump out to me, but as opposed to the games themselves, I mean, the biggest favorite on this board are the Minnesota Vikings laying 6.5 week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Or no, the Baltimore Ravens are laying 9.5 against the Houston Texans. But I guess my big takeaway is the favorites that are the favorites, which they should be, are not as large of favorites as as I thought they would be. Like you've got Kansas City laying 7 against Detroit, as you just alluded to, but you got just some interesting lines here, like Philly only laying 5 against New England, Dallas laying 3 against the Giants, the Falcons laying 3 against the Panthers, Cincinnati only laying 2.5 against the Browns. So, obviously I think the dogs and the favorites are pretty much correct, at least from perceived perception, but I'm surprised that some of these favorites are as short as they are, at least early on here with the week 1 schedule.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at that first Monday night game, Bills-Jets as a pick. I know the Jets have all the hype. They've got, Rodgers, and they got him a few weapons, the guys that he wanted. The Jets had a lot of hype last year with their young guys, their defense. But until they prove otherwise, in my opinion, the Jets are still the Jets. So for the Bills, I mean, they're on the road, but for being a pick 'em, the Bills are a team that stands out in week 1.
How about your Chicago Bears laying 2.5 points, a favorite in week 1 against the Packers?
If I could remember a time in my life where the Bears have been a favorite against the Packers, that still scares me. And I mean, the Bears could be up by 40 in the fourth quarter against the Packers, and I'm still not happy. I'm not convinced that they're going to pull it out. I've been heartbroken too many times. I know that the wicked witch, Aaron Rodgers, isn't on the other side, but until they prove otherwise, the Packers unfortunately have owned the Bears my whole life.
One of the first wagers I ever won, I'll never forget it. It was the first game of the NFL season, the year after the double doink, where the Bears opened the season against the Green Bay Packers. And I will never forget, I was looking at the lines and I was like, you're telling me the Green Bay Packers, who at that point had Aaron Rodgers.
The Bears actually were favored in that game, weren't they?
They were favored the Bears. And I was like, what are we doing here? You're going to give me Aaron Rodgers against a team that he's owned as a dog? And I remember I just went hammer, 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 hammer. And I made some money. So that was a good way to start.
The game, if I can remember. The game was like 13-3 or something.
I think you're correct. So it was a sweat, but I was like money line, Green Bay, bada bing, bada boom. So That's fun. But yeah, man, no, it's just great to see these NFL lines out here again. I think the Bears, as a favorite is obviously interesting. San Francisco laying 3 on the road at Pittsburgh. That's kind of interesting as well. And obviously all these totals, pretty much sit in the mid 40s. I believe the only total that I'm seeing here, there's 2 totals that are in the 50s, that being Miami and the Chargers at 50.5. And the first game of the year, Detroit and Kansas City at 54.5. Outside of that, virtually every single game is in the 40s with the exception of the Cardinals and the Commanders, which is sitting at 39.5 for the total as well. So it's just nice to kind of get the football conversation, the betting conversation. Obviously, I've done the Football Friday show for SuperBook Sports for a few years now as well. Just nice to get back in that mindset as we move forward. But I look forward to our conversations and our shows come football time.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before we have the entire NFL schedule up. So the past 2 years, we've been doing lines for every single game. So that's 272 games.
A lot of games.
We come out on social and we're going to put together a grid of the whole schedule. I'm sure you've seen it in the past 2 years of every team's schedule with their line for the entire season. And you bet that this summer.
We also found out this year, in regards to kind of like a caveat with the NFL schedule, that they're now going to introduce a Black Friday game. Are you a fan of the potential not potential, it's going to happen. Are you a fan of an extra NFL game?
Absolutely, because you got Thanksgiving, and then you got the Black Friday games, and then Saturday you got the whole slate of college football, which is the best way to spend your day betting college football, and then Sunday, and then you got the Monday night game.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, what kind of gets me excited about this is, remember, last Black Friday was the United States versus the England national team in the World Cup. And I remember I had been so anticipated for that. But that was the first time in probably my adult life that I've gone out the day after Thanksgiving. Usually I'm just kind of in a food coma and I'm, posted up on the couch, whatever it might be. I'll probably still do that. But now it's just it extends the holiday even more because, like you said, you get the Thanksgiving games and then you roll over to college football on Friday, whatever it might be. I'm going to be in my reclining chair on that Black Friday, multiple TV setup. I'm going to have my panini press leftover turkey sandwich with my mashed potatoes and gravy. And I'm going to be downloaded and betting on my fancy schmancy SuperBook Sports app. I am a big fan of the Black Friday game. And I'm not one of those people that's more games, NFL this, NFL that. I think that this is a great situational spot, though, for the NFL to say, okay, let's add another game on a day that we usually don't play football, because it does kind of blend into that holiday, feeding off the energy from Thanksgiving on Thursday, then into another regular NFL Sunday. I am a fan of Black Friday.
And most everyone's sitting at home. I mean, a lot of people have got that Friday off. They're looking for something to do, looking for something to watch. You're not going out and you're not shopping on Black Friday. All that's done online. You don't go to the stores anymore. This is 2023. You can never have too much football. That's something I will never complain about, whether it's Utah State versus Hawaii. It's on my TV. Yeah. I'm watching. I got action.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. All right, let's move along to something that is currently being played. And, they say betting is random and, you can't fix outcomes or, you got to shoot your darts, whatever it might be. But this TikTok account, Air Korg, the corgi might have the secret sauce, my friend. It's the sensation that's going all across Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, the whole nine. This corgi has successfully predicted the outcome of each game in the Los Angeles Lakers Golden State Warriors playoff series up until this point. So it predicted a Lakers victory in game 1, a Warriors victory in game 2, Lakers dubs in games 3 and 4, and then a Warriors victory in game 5. The last 2 predictions for Air Korg are 2 more wins for the Golden State Warriors. So when it's all said and done, Air Korg has the Golden State Warriors coming back from down 3-1 in the series to advance to the Western Conference Final. I believe this is the same Korg that we've seen. I believe he's been doing these predictions for a little while now with a bunch of different sports. But for whatever reason, the basketball gods and the corgi are on the same page so far in this one. What do you make of the doggo picking all these games successfully? And do you think he's right? Do you think the Warriors end up coming back and winning this series in 7 games?
Yeah, I do. They're sitting at plus 180 to win the series. I believe in the dog. I saw the dog was actually pretty spot on the Heat Knicks series too. I think the dog's only got 1 wrong. For our social account, I put together, I've been following this since game 3 of this Warriors-Lakers series. And I did the math that if you started with $100 and you carried over your winnings in each game, just betting the money line of this dog, and they're not taking just the favorites. They did take the Lakers when they were outright dog. You would be up, or you would have $1,200, just over $1,200 if you started with 100 and carried over your winnings every game this series. and you would be having that $1,235.60 on the Warriors money line in Game 6, and that's sitting at let's see, it's sitting at plus 120. So you got plus money, and if you're taking the Warriors and tailing the dog.
Interesting. Here's what I'll say as well, and it kind of feeds into the dog's prediction. If the Lakers do not win Game 6, they're not winning Game 7. And I know that's probably a cliche about like, oh, well, if you can't win at home at Crypto, what makes you think you can go to the Bay where Golden State's been great and win there? But it is just as simple as that. And look, it is LeBron James and Anthony Davis who have actually really impressed me. It's like the first time Dylan Brooks is the only person who has ever convinced me to like be in LeBron James's corner.
Yeah.
Like, after the whole Dylan, like, I've always been a little in and out on LeBron, but after the Dylan Brooks stuff, I'm like, let's go, Bron. Like, like I want to see LeBron win because of what Dylan Brooks did.
I had to check my temperature. Yeah, I felt like I was almost halfway rooting for LeBron, which I've never done and never will do again.
It was strange. So I'm interested because I think if the Lakers lose Game 6, which I think they might have, I don't know, man. This series is getting feisty. I think you'll see Golden State, you'll see Stephen Curry kind of reinvent the wheel and complete his arc against LeBron James, then coming back down 3-1 in a playoff series himself, like LeBron managed to do in the NBA Finals just a handful of years ago. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Eric Kork, shout out to Eric Kork, man. He's got the secret sauce. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know what the owner's feeding him, but clearly he's got something going on. So, we'll keep an eye on that one. So, just to kind of wrap it up there on that one, you think the Dubs come back in 7? That's crazy. I mean, it's wild because when they were down, it's so hard to try to predict that when they're down 3-1, but then all you got to do is win that one game. And it feels like all the pressure shifts.
Take it one game at a time.
Yeah. I know that's where I was like not worried with the Nuggets, but I was like, dang, dude, like if Phoenix, wins this game on their home court coming back for Game 7, like, I don't know, momentum kind of shifts and whatnot. So I don't know, man. And Philly, I know we didn't have that on the list, but like, talk about Philly laying an egg at home. And let me just say this one thing as a Nugget person that lives here in Colorado. The chef's kiss of Philly losing a clinching game on their home court where Jason Tatum scores 1 point in the first half and then explodes in the fourth quarter. And then on the other side, Denver goes on the road in Phoenix against the perceived favorite in the Western Conference to come out of the conference and blows them out on the road with Nikola Jokic, another triple-double performance. It's chef's kiss, my friend. Chef's kiss. And there's a lot of people that are probably waking up every day and saying, why did I vote for Joel Embiid? Why did I not vote for Nikola Jokic? Welcome to the Nikola Jokic experience.
Yeah, I saw trending on Twitter too yesterday. One person that didn't have Jokic in the top 5 MVP votes.
Mark Jackson.
A lot of heat on Twitter. A lot of people wanted to take his vote away.
And he tried to walk it back.
I forgot. How do you forget about the guy who just won the last 2 MVPs, and he's probably the best basketball player in the entire world?
And he's claiming that was like, no, like that was my all-NBA team list because he had 2 guards forward and a center. Nonsense, man. It's just the way that I put it is if Nikola Jokic were on the Los Angeles Lakers, or if you swapped Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, we'd be talking about Jokic as potentially the greatest player of all time. That would be the narrative. The market hurts Jokic as much as anything. But let's move on, my friend. You sent me this, and I've been picking up on it on social media here a little bit. These AI-generated fans that have been going around across social media. And AI is super weird. I've started using Chat GPT a little bit in my work. Like I had to make me a YouTube headline one time. And, there's just so many different things that these tools can kind of provide. Like, there's this whole controversy with like the AI music where it's like you got fake Drake, fake Kendrick, like all these fake artists that are using AI, or people are using AI to kind of project their voice. And now we've got AI fans. So there's an AI generator, and apparently what somebody did is they spoke to the AI generator or typed in the AI generator, make the average NFL fan from each NFL franchise. And they spit out, basically a picture of what the perceived fan from each fan base looks like. And we got ourselves some interesting results.
Yeah, just in my mind, these look pretty spot on. There's some that are funnier than others, and
it's
more accurate than others. But the AI, some say it's gone too far. There's some crazy uses for it. I think this has been the best use that I've seen so far. This has been the most entertaining to me and most useful for me.
Yeah, I agree. And some of my favorites that I think just capture the overall energy of the team in which they're trying to represent. I think the Eagles fan is done pretty well, like kind of like the backwards hat, mean mugging, just kind of like Philly look. Like I think that one did a really good job. I think the Seahawk fan, like whenever I just think of like a Seattle Seahawk fan, the AI generated version that we had is like just where my head goes, like that realm, and it's so spot on to see how you put in a couple of key words and these fans just like they're able to spit out these images of people, of fake people that look like, the real group of people that we're trying to compare them to. So my favorites, I would say Seattle. I don't know what's going on in Baltimore though. I don't really know what to make of this dude. What is that? Milk ice cream? Like I don't really know what to make of this.
Yeah, so the guy who tweeted this out, his name is Bangalorian. So he's clearly a Bengals fan, and he starts with the AFC North. And if you look at the Bengals fan, it's just like the coolest looking dude ever. It looks exactly like Joe Burrow. He's like smoking a cigar. And then you got the Ravens fan is just this huge guy eating the biggest bowl of ice cream I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm confused at what that is. I mean, I like it. Like I think it's kind of.
You had to type in something a little more specific than just Ravens fan.
I just want to know how they got this like Broncos fan, because it's just like some generic looking woman that's just kind of like looking at the camera. And like when I think Broncos fans, like I think of like Barrel Man. I think of like I've been to a couple of Broncos training camps. Like I did some man on the street video content over there last year. Like there's this dude named Broncos Prophet that like dresses up in like a Noah's Ark style cloak, and he's got like his 10 commandments of like Broncos fandom, like thou shalt not, take the orange crush your name in vain. There's another guy named Broncos Reaper who goes around in like a navy blue like shroud with a scythe, and he's got the mask on. Like the Broncos fans have some characters, and like I just think some generic looking person is maybe not the best way to represent the Bronco fan base. Although I will say this AI generated thing of the Broncos fans, that is like prototypical people that live in Denver. Like everybody that lives in Denver looks like that person.
As an outsider who visits Denver quite a bit, they kind of capture like the hipster look. She's got it looks like someone in Denver, not necessarily someone that you'd see at Mile High, cheering on the Broncos.
Why is the Chiefs fan crying?
I don't get that. Maybe those are tears of joy. I don't know.
That one took me because it's not like it's like the Chiefs of like, way back when, like when you and I were growing up where they were kind of mediocre. I mean, we're talking about the best team in the NFL the last 5 years.
Yeah, it blows my mind that Chiefs fan is crying. But
the Raiders one's good.
The Raiders one is pretty spot on. That looks like someone in the black hole at Allegiant. Something that stands out is I like how AI, like they just don't, I guess the technology hasn't advanced that far where they capture like words or like the numbers. So
it's all just like
closely at some of these, like the logos on some of their jerseys or like they're like the words on their jersey is just like gibberish. It's just like random letters.
Yeah, that's I love that of the AI, man. Like some of these are interesting, man. Like and like the fake logos, like whatever this Lions logo is, like whoever the Lions fan is supposed to be. I don't know what that logo is across the chest, but it ain't the Detroit Lions, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I thought the Vikings one is good too.
Yeah, I think the NFC North is pretty spot on. Look at the Packers guy just sitting there in the first those seats that he's sitting in. Those are way nicer than anything at Lambeau. But this guy looks like he's freezing, and then just look in his face. He's realizing that they don't have Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre anymore, and they're stuck with Jordan Love. What
if Jordan Love is just as good?
Don't say that.
I know how you feel as a Bears guy, but I'm just saying I kind of like Jordan Love.
I cannot do that. 20 years of just complete dominance. No, don't speak that to existence. Come on.
Let me ask you this before we move along. Which one do you think is the most off? Like, which is your least favorite of the AIs? Is there anyone that maybe just makes you go like, I don't really know what I'm looking at? I kind of feel that way about Tampa because it just looks like a ripoff of like a knockoff Tom Brady crossed over with Mr. Incredible. And it kind of looks like an Arizona Cardinal jersey.
The Tampa one I think is kind of spot on because the stadium's empty. People they don't remember before Tom Brady came there. That's what the stadium kind of looked like it looks like the lesser of the diehard fans.
The Panther fan looks like a knockoff Matt Rule, so that one's kind of strange. The Saint fan just has no character to it. So, I mean, there's a couple. I don't know. I think the NFC South is lacking a little bit. The Falcon fan's looking awesome, but I think the other three are kind of mid myself.
The Titans fan, one, that looks nothing like a Titans jersey. She's painted like an Avatar character.
It's a good point.
I mean, I've seen quite a bit of Titans fans being in Nashville quite a bit with SuperBook, and I've never seen a Titans fan looking like this.
Yeah. I don't know. I like it. I mean, maybe you got to do these for baseball fans now and basketball fans.
Yeah,
I
I
think
was
the Browns player or the Browns dude's
in
pretty
the AI
good.
generator and get those out.
Yeah, Patriots fan generic. So, no, always a good conversation. And we'll see what the future holds with AI as it becomes more and more integrated with our world. But all right, before we leave, let's put on our tinfoil hats. It is conspiracy theory time. The NHL Draft Lottery was earlier this week, and I know you are over the moon because you are a Chicago Blackhawks fan, and essentially what this draft lottery was all about is a race to the top to see who gets the number one overall pick and the rights to draft the future of the league, as many people are calling him, Connor Bedard. And your Chicago Blackhawks ended up with the top pick, but not after a little bit of controversy. So Monday evening's NHL Draft Lottery was marred by chaos. And of course, the NHL is going to deny that there was no conspiracy, but kind of the overall synopsis is the broadcast of the event on ESPN in the United States went very smooth until the reveal of the top three picks. Host Kevin Weeks announced the Columbus Blue Jackets is picking third prior to the NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly flipping over a card for Columbus. And then, so there was, just a lot of different layers about who's picking, who's going to get what pick, whatever it might be. Commercial break, Chicago Blackhawks, boom. And there's a couple of different thoughts because of the way in which the teams were kind of presented on the TV, but then also mixed with the fact of the team that ended up getting the number one overall pick. A team in Chicago that's one of the original six, one of, if not the most popular team in the NHL that, is usually consistently good and has gone through a little bit of a downtime in the last handful of seasons. Like, it's a lot of NHL fans are like, really? Like, you have a couple of bad years, you have a bad stretch of play for the first time in what seems like forever. And all of a sudden you're going to get the number one pick. And it just so happens the year you get the number one overall pick is the year in which one of the next generational players is coming out. Talk to me. Is the NHL draft rigged? And how are you feeling as a Blackhawk fan, my friend?
To answer the first question, I was watching the lottery, of course. As a Blackhawks fan, I had a lot of interest in this lottery. So I did hear Kevin Weeks, with that little slip up, saying that the Columbus Blue Jackets are the first, because it went in perfect odds all the way up to the top three. It went exactly in order of how it was expected to go. And then he said the first mix-up in the NHL Draft Lottery, the Columbus Blue Jackets are picking third. So, and then it went straight into commercial, and then you've got like 3 or 4 minutes to wonder, like, was that just a slip up, or like, what was that? And then it comes back and it flips the card, the Blackhawks selecting number one overall. So, to answer your first question, no, I don't think it's rigged, because they do. I mean, that is not the lottery right there. That's just the reveal of it. So they have the video of Gary Bettman picking the combination.
It's all decided.
Yeah, so they have that video of him picking the combination, and if it's rigged, so be it. I don't really care, because it resulted in the right way that I was hoping.
Yeah, and I don't think it's rigged. I mean, here's the other thing. I don't think it's rigged, but if there was a sport that I would put my tinfoil cap on and be like, all right, I think they could play a role in how things play out, like of the core four, I think it would be the NHL.
And then you also have that last year, the draft being in Montreal and being one of the most popular teams in the NHL, if not the most popular, and they get the number one pick.
Yeah, and Gary Bettman has kind of a DGF, like, doesn't care, like, FU type of mentality to all the critics. So I think Gary Bettman's going to do what Gary Bettman wants to do and what's best for the league. And obviously we know the Chicago Blackhawks are a moneymaker. And when your moneymakers are profitable and in the spotlight and in the, all that, it's better for the league as a whole. So if you want to believe in that narrative that Bettman got involved with this, so be it. But I don't know.
It was a genius idea, and it worked because the Blackhawks sold millions in season tickets just the night of the NFL.
Yeah. Like, imagine, like, Connor I mean, a lot of people are comparing this kid to Connor McDavid about, like, the next version or, the next great goal scorer since Connor McDavid. And obviously Edmonton, Canadian franchise, I know it's been a while since, any Canadian team has won a Stanley Cup. But imagine if a Connor McDavid was on, like, a big market team. Was playing for like a Chicago or a Detroit, or one of these franchises that is recognizable and a household name across the entire sports landscape. Like, I think that does a lot for your sport. And like I said, if you want to put the tinfoil cap on, maybe they're looking as like, hey, we're not maximizing our value as a sport in a marketing sense with Connor McDavid because of where he plays or whatever it might be. Maybe they look at this as an opportunity if they do want to, pull some strings behind the scenes of, hey, we can get a potential face of our league in the future on one of the most recognizable and iconic franchises in our sport. And, maybe they look at it as, across the board that pays dividends for the league. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Who
the
else was going
conspiracy.
to be? It's going to be the Columbus Blue Jackets or the Anaheim Ducks, where,
Yeah.
in Anaheim, you might run into another situation that the MLB is dealing with Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani playing and getting lost and kind of, wasting away their careers.
Most people hear the Anaheim Ducks and they think of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, that's where people's minds still go. And it's just a reality situation. So I don't have any gripe with it. I'm not a big enough hockey aficionado. I'm here for it because as someone who is a casual hockey fan, I want to see the best prize players go with the most iconic franchise myself to help continue to boost the overall platform of the sport. So NHL draft, is it rigged? Yes or no? Let us know on social media. I'm at Media by AP. He's at SuperBook Unit. But love it, brother. Love it. A lot of different topics discussed. NHL draft, NFL fans, Air Korg, NFL schedule, and of course Camden Yards over there at the SuperBook Bar and Grill. Cutting the ribbon today. So enjoy plenty of Miller Lights from me, my friend. But any closing thoughts, any words of wisdom before we get out of here?
Yeah, a few things. Hawks are back. Come out to Camden Yards, get to the SuperBook Bar and Grill, watch great baseball. The Orioles, they're also back. And let's win some bets this week. Get to superbook.com, bet some SGPs.
I love that. Yeah, bet those SGPs, get those odds boosted. And again, if you live in a state that is Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Maryland, Nevada, Jersey, Ohio, or Tennessee, you're in luck because the SuperBook Sportsbook app is available where you are. If you're in Nevada, be sure to go check out the mothership that is the brick and mortar SuperBook Sports location inside of the Westgate. If you're here in Colorado, you can head up to the Lodge Casino as well. And it's specifically for people in Maryland. When you download the SuperBook Sports app, sign up, deposit, and place a wager today, you get a wager or you'll get a bonus of up to $500. For every other state, that bonus is up to $250. So be sure to download that SuperBook Sports app, make that account, and away we go. My last closing thought and word of wisdom, we'll talk about it again next week. Do not bet against the Denver Nuggets at home. Just don't bet against them at home. They're excellent at home. They've lost less than 10 games at home over the course of the entire season. So regardless if it's Golden State or the Lakers, next time we talk to you, just don't bet against them at home. When Denver's at home, don't bet against them. That's my one word of wisdom from my.
Let's get another AP boost for Game 1. Warriors.
And what my second boost was gonna just be Jokic triple-double and Nuggets to win. I was like, let me just keep it because I wanted to give someone, something that has a realistic chance of hitting that's not too complicated. So maybe that's what I'll do for Game 1. Jokic triple-double and Nuggets to win, something along those lines. But we'll have to get another AP boost going.
Yeah, it might be a couple days before we get to that point. We got some more, hopefully a few more games in this Warriors-Lakers series.
Yeah, some much-needed rest for the Denver Nuggets as well. But all right, y'all. Again, be sure to get those bets in with SuperBook Sports if you're in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Maryland, Nevada, Jersey, Ohio, or Tennessee. And away we go. That's going to do it for us on this week's installment of the Fast Five presented by our friends over at SuperBook Sports from my man Unit out there in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm Anilo Piro here in Denver, Colorado. Enjoy the weekend. Good luck on the bets, and we'll chat with you guys next week.
Peace.